As the title suggests, this is basically a sequel to my last video. Somebody needs to talk about Major Cloog. In this video, I'm going to go over new evidence I was able to find. These are going to be presented through screenshots. However, most of the evidence presented in this video is publicly available to access. If you go to Cloog's Discord server, type in the search bar to search for users Gary the Gleeful, you should see all of his messages. I know these are his messages because it was the username present in Hallee's video. However, if you need further confirmation, if you jump to page 33, make sure it's set from newest to oldest. Once you scroll around a bit, you should see an audio clip.
Skibbity toilet. Skibbity skibbity skip 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 skibbity 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 skip.
If you listen to the audio clip, this is clearly Cloog's voice, so yeah, this account does belong to Cloog. Now with that out of the way, I'm going to present the evidence that I personally was able to find. But if you want to see this for yourself, I'll show the page number that you have to access it and whether to set it from new to old or old to new. So yeah, let's keep on talking about Cloog. Let's go to the Hallee situation first. And I want to confirm that yes, the only reason that Cloog did break up with Hallee was because he was going to turn 18 the next month. The reason why I wanted to say this is because this implies that there was intent behind Cloog's actions. Now, Cloog claims it was all for a joke and it was just to make Luigi Cap jealous. However, assuming that Hallee's claims are true, Cloog was with Hallee for nearly a month at this point, sending several messages saying I love you, hanging out with her on other websites such as Whiteboard Fox, and even made art of her, some that you can see for yourself if you look at the chat logs. And apparently, he had a QAF Cloog role in Hallee's server. And despite saying he never liked Hallee, and people were telling Cloog to just leave Hallee's server, Cloog refused to do so. Now, I don't really get this logic, because if it was just a joke, it went on for so long, and it had so much effort put into it. I mean, being a part of Hallee's server, all the drawings and everything, it's a pretty elaborate joke. If this is, one. Now, as said by Hallee, Cloog frequently made lewd jokes, made lewd drawings of her, and some of the drawings that were presented are in his exact same style, and asked her to keep the relationship a secret. As I previously mentioned that, yeah, Cloog did dump Hallee because he was going to turn 18 the next month, but again, it could be just a joke, I guess. Just another one of Cloog's jokes, which are so hilarious. Now let's get to the topic of Fruwffle, who originally went by Owlfinch. Recently I posted a video titled Major Cloog Update. In that video's description, I re-uploaded all the evidence along with a Google Drive made by Fruwffle that contains screenshots of her interactions with Cloog. I want to visit back to this topic because there has been a few people that claim these screenshots were faked and have been taken out of context. Now regarding if these are fake, it's always a possibility, but it's also equally possible that these are true. In my opinion, I don't want to think that simply possibility should warrant a complete disregard of the evidence provided. However, I want to focus on the argument that these screenshots were taken out of context. Many of the messages that were screenshotted were in private Discord chats, so it's hard to retrieve those messages as Fruwffle's original Discord account was deleted a while back. But I was lucky enough that Cloog himself decided to post a bit more context to two screenshots found in Fruwffle's drive. Specifically, the ones that say "let me sex you" and "comes in mouth." If you set the chats from oldest to newest and type in page 155, you'll see messages posted by Cloog after he was confronted for his jokes with Fruwffle. I want to make this clear, there is information withheld on both sides. But while Cloog messages don't exactly say word for word what Fruwffle's evidence in the drive says, anybody can tell that the profile picture, along with the topic of the conversation in the chat, implies that this was Cloog and he did say these things. And to remind you, Fruwffle was 12 and Cloog was 17, something he was likely aware of. I want to get to the topic of these jokes, as many people, myself included, were under the assumption that this was just Cloog's poor sense of humor. Now, looking at the dates of the evidence presented, we know that this took place of January 2020. But with the screenshots Cloog took, he only posted a short convo on the 22nd, while the screenshots that Fruwffle shared, there were messages on the 18th, the 20th, the 22nd, and the 27th. With that in mind, these jokes took place over the span of the entire month. Now, it was only on February 17th, 2020, that Cloog finally stopped engaging in this behavior, as he said it was only a cringy phase. However, if you read Fruwffle's drive, 12 days earlier, there's a screenshot in which Cloog says, don't get caught. And keep in mind, Cloog did have a girlfriend at this time, in which, as Fruwffle puts it, was getting worried about these frequent interactions Cloog was having. I believe that there's plenty of reason for Cloog to say don't get caught, as in this point in time, people were starting to get suspicious of him. I mean, even in his own Discord, people were questioning if Cloog was ERPing with a 12-year-old girl. And keep in mind, Cloog was still interacting with Fruwffle well past this joke ended. Now, I was able to get in contact with Fruwffle, and they were kind enough to make a video. I'll show the unedited version of the video before we move on to the next segment.
Hi, sorry if there's noise in the background. I have a bird and she likes to talk when I talk, and I can't really control that, so I'm sorry. But hi, I'm Cloog's 12-year-old victim. We met in late 2019 and we got really close, and he was grooming me in 2020. He was 17 and I was 12, and that's a 5-year gap almost, and that could be considered pedophilia, especially with the things he said to me. Common excuse I see used for him is that he was a minor too. Okay, minors can still be pedophiles. If they're under 16, they can't be a pedophile. Legally, they can't be a pedophile, but anyone the age of 16 and over can be legally considered a pedophile or diagnosed as one. Cloog was 17, he could be legally considered a pedophile or diagnosed as one. And another excuse I see used for him is that they were jokes. Even if they were jokes, that can still be grooming. He used the joking manner to normalize his topics for me. And why would you joke like that to somebody who's 5 years younger than you? I'm tired of people trying to pass what he did off as just distasteful jokes. Yeah, they're distasteful jokes, but he still groomed me. And I know, yes, not every time someone makes a joke, they're a groomer. But considering the circumstances with Cloog, yes, he's a groomer. And he used those jokes to groom me. People will do anything to excuse what he's done to me, and it really hurts when people do that. Another excuse I see people use is she threatened self-harm, she was suicidal, she vented to him, etc. First of all, I don't recall me ever being like, oh, if you don't do this, I'm gonna do this to myself, because I didn't. I never threatened to do something to myself if he didn't do something. Basically, he would push me away sometimes or reject me because his girlfriend would get suspicious and he had to prove to her that nothing was going on. But as soon as she was assured nothing was going on, he went right back to his stuff with me. That was also how he groomed me. He would use my vulnerability when I was unstable to take advantage of me. Yes, I would vent to him a lot, and I would be suicidal, and I would be like, oh, I'm not clean from self-harm anymore. But that's because I was actually unstable, and I thought he was a person I could talk to, and that he was safe, even though, now I know he was taking advantage of me. And, he, comforted me and all of that. But it would kind of be like a cycle. He would push me away and then flirt with me and be weird because he wanted to use my vulnerability when he would reject me. So I could go to him when I was upset because, you know, I found comfort in him. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, is that we need to stop excusing Cloog's actions, because there's really no excuse for what he did to me. Thanks to Buttergoat for letting me come on here and say some stuff. I am open for questions, but please be aware that I might not respond. I have schoolwork, and I actually have and I don't have a lot of time to like sit down and have a conversation with people. So be aware that I'm not ignoring anybody. I just don't have a lot of time to respond thoroughly and answer questions. But I am open to any questions. But yeah, thanks to everyone who supported me and shared around the evidence and stuff. Bye.
I'm sure many of you have seen the unlisted pencil video that Cloog has on his channel. See, the furry you see being railed from behind by a pencil, their name is Kaharii. Well, if you didn't know, Kaharii was in Cloog's server. If you see messages with the profile move, that's Kaharii. Anyways, after that video was posted, this pencil video became an inside joke on Cloog's server. And I'm using the word joke generously here because anybody could tell that Kaharii was not comfortable with this. If you looked at the messages, you can tell that even when they seemed to joke about it, Kaharii got visibly annoyed. Now in one conversation, Kaharii was responding to another user message with an image that she made. This image in question was her OC saying please do. Cloog, who saw this message, decided to edit and repost Kaharii's image, this time his little pencil OC asking Kaharii if he can rape her. I do think I don't have to go too in depth about this image, not to mention that in this point in time, the pencil video was nearly 3 months ago. I want to move a bit further into this topic of Kaharii and addition Lertas. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, Lertas was tricked into giving Cloog his account. But according to a chat I had with Lertas, the reason why Cloog wanted to get into Lertas' account was because he was suspicious that Lertas and Kaharii were together. Anyways, after Lertas and Kaharii's private chats were leaked by Cloog, Cloog decided to hold a competition in the server for who could draw the best Lertas x Kaharii art, so it would be a feature in a video called Kaharii Why. And to add on, Cloog even made a change.org that asked Lertas to get off the internet. And even now it still continues to this day, because in the very last video that Cloog made, you can see a cameo of Lertas where Cloog labeled Lertas as a rapist on the milk carton.